The biggest week of the regular season is upon us, and the high school spotlight has you covered. Welcome in, everyone. I'm your host, Garrett Walvard, and today's program is loaded with high school football, volleyball, and yes, even some basketball. We're joined in studio by LHSAA Assistant Executive Director Karen Hoyt to talk about the playoff brackets and the upcoming volleyball championships at the Cajun Dome. We'll talk with several football coaches about their big wins on Friday night and relive the last-second victories by St. Paul's at Mandeville and Madison Prep over U-High. Plus, a preview of the 5A showdown between undefeated Neville and Alexandria Senior High. All that after this quick break.
Love did this. This is love's fault, and it hurts. It's devastating. But you always come back for more. What else gets you up this early? What else makes you feel this wild, this ecstatic, this focused, this obsessed? Has to be love. It's in your soul, your head, your heart, your hands. You love the game. It's your nature. Nothing is more real.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Welcome back into the High School Spotlight. We're joined in studio now by the Assistant Executive Director of the LHSAA, Karen Hoyt. Karen, it's been a great start to the volleyball season. Just talk to us about the upcoming LHSAA championships.
It has been. We're super excited. We'll be at the Cajun Dome again this year. The Cajun Dome was super helpful when Hurricane Ida hit in 21. We lost the Pontchartrain Center due to damage, and at the last minute they graciously hosted us, and we've been there ever since. And the coaches in South Louisiana absolutely love the Cajun Dome, and so we're excited to be back there.
The network was at the championships last year and broadcast them. The environment was electric. Just talk to us about why Lafayette is such a great host for these championships.
Well, you know, it's the Cajun Dome, and it's a great venue. I don't think there's a better place to play volleyball. It's just the setup and just the whole atmosphere. It's just a great venue to have any championship. As you know, we had boys basketball for years there, and we're just very fortunate to be able to continue that partnership with the Cajun Dome.
For the second year in a row, the championships will be broadcast on Cox 4 along with our network and the NFHS network and YouTube. Just talk about the expanded coverage and how great that is for the student athletes and their programs.
Well, I think it's great. I think it helps to grow the interest in the sport of volleyball, and it gives those an opportunity to watch the games that can't travel to Lafayette. So we're super excited for that partnership.
We have seen some amazing performances during the regular season. I think the championships and the round up to them is just going to be very competitive.
Absolutely. It's a lot of good volleyball teams out there, and we're super excited. We have some new teams, some North Louisiana teams that are on the bracket this year that have not been on the bracket before, and we're super excited about that.
Two of the top programs year after year, Mount Carmel and Dominican, they recently had their third matchup of the year, a big event to raise money for breast cancer awareness. It's great to see them using their program platform for that.
Absolutely. You know, anytime we can use the platform for something good, I think we should do that, and that is a great cause. Breast cancer awareness is a huge cause that we need to be aware of, and it's near and dear to me. I have a close family member that fought breast cancer and won, so it's super, super special. And you know, both of those schools are just wonderful. Their coaches, their administration, just great teams and great schools.
Mount Carmel and Dominican, of course, in Division I, along with the #1 team, Slidell. The Tigers making some history under Coach Danny Tullis.
They are. Well, as you know, Danny Tullis has been very successful no matter where he's been. And he is doing a great job at Slidell. He brings a 17-2 record into the playoffs, so looking forward to seeing what they can do.
In Division II, St. Thomas More again ranked #1 in the playoff brackets, and they're looking to win their 4th consecutive state title.
They are. They've been very successful. Coach Burke does an excellent job. She's a great coach, so she's definitely going to be a team to be reckoned with.
You mentioned it earlier, the growth of volleyball in North Louisiana, some programs like Bird out of Shreveport, as well as Calvary Baptist from that area. How is volleyball growing in North Louisiana?
Well, you know, Garrett, we've had, since 2017, we've had 57 new schools add volleyball. And of those 57 teams, 12 have been from the north. And like I said, we have 6 teams on the bracket. We have Northwood Shreve. In addition to those, we have West Washita, and we have Ruston. So we have several teams on the bracket. So we're excited to grow the sport in North Louisiana.
As the season comes to a close, we'll see several coaches retire, including Renee Fontenot at Sam Houston and Sivvy Miller, who's close to 900 wins at St. Joseph's. It's great to celebrate them, but also tough to see them go.
Oh, it is. They've been such role models and just, mentors for so many coaches and players throughout the years, and we hate to see them go, but understand, the day came when I had to step away from it. So I understand, having to leave coaching.
You were a 2-time champion at Albany High School. Did you make a decision during the season or did you do it after the year? Were you able to play for a little bit knowing that you were going to retire?
I did. I didn't share it with anyone other than my immediate family, but I knew that was it.
It's got to be tough to have to go through the season like that. Give us an idea how fans can purchase tickets for this event at the Cajun Dome.
So the tickets are $18 a day plus fees and taxes. They can walk up to the facility, which is the cheapest way to purchase a ticket, or they can purchase it through Ticketmaster, and that ticket is good all day, but there is no re-entry. So if you leave the facility, you would have to purchase a ticket to re-enter.
Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
We will see you guys in the coming weeks at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette. Stay with us. We've got a recap of St. Paul's and Mandeville football when we return on the High School Spotlight.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
Welcome back to the High School Spotlight. On Friday night, the latest chapter in the rivalry between Mandeville and St. Paul's played out. The Skippers entered the game undefeated, but without their star running back, Nate Shepard. The Duke commitment, with more than 1,800 yards and 23 touchdowns on the year, injured his leg in Week 8. St. Paul's and Coach Kenny Sears were confident going into the matchup with senior quarterback Brendan Kime leading the attack. Here's a closer look at Friday night's score on the North Shore.
Mandeville Skippers, of course, having to play without their star running back, Nate Shepard, who was hurt last week, taking on neighboring rival St. Paul's. St. Paul's, first quarter, Brennan Kine finds Chase Raydan, first down, nice pickup. Later, it's a miscue, though. They put the football on the ground. Juan Canales of Mandeville coming up with the recovery. And from there, Mandeville unveils its new secret weapon. His name is Isaiah Bayham. And check out this guy. Nice pickup there to the left side of the scrimmage. Then the next play, let's go up the middle with him. Number 25 is ruling the roost at this point. And then finally, Bayham will punch it in, get the touchdown, and Mandeville jumps in front by 7-0. This guy had over 250 yards rushing in place of Nate Shepard. Still a tight game. Mandeville now down 20-7, but the guy we talked about, oh, look at that rip right there. Isaiah Bayham, 40-yard touchdown. So that's his second of the game. Sam Bonaldi gets the nice grab on this pick right there, or that throw right there, down to the 14-yard line. First play of the fourth quarter. St. Paul's is already up 20-14. Brennan Klein takes it in from the 2-yard line, and now St. Paul's has some breathing room, right? Well, maybe not. Mandeville's next drive, gonna pitch one to the sideline there to pick up a first down. A few plays later, Bayham He is money all night long for the Skippers. Look at him just push people out of the way. He takes it down into the red zone. I mentioned he had over 250 yards rushing, and Mandeville scores on the next play. It's 27-24. St. Paul's lead is now just 6 points. Mandeville would get the ball back quickly and then would score. This time, instead of a run, it's a pass play in the corner of the end zone. Mandeville would eventually take the lead 28-27. St. Paul's now, less than 2 minutes left in the game. They're going to go up the sideline. Stone Celestin gets the pick deep into Mandeville territory. They drain the clock down to 3 seconds to go, and then they're going to attempt the game-winning field goal. It is through the uprights as time runs out, and let the party begin for St. Paul's. Their fans, their students going crazy. They end up knocking off Mandeville there in the Skippers' home stadium. 30-28 was your final scores.
Congrats to Coach Sears and the Wolves, who can win the district title outright with a win over Covington this week. Coming up next, we hit the hardwood at the Smoothie King Center as Liberty and Episcopal give us a preview of the 2025 basketball season. You're watching the High School Spotlight.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Last season, the Liberty Boys basketball team took the state by storm, winning the Division I championship over top seed St. Thomas More. The Episcopal Knights made a strong run through the playoffs as well, advancing to the Division III semifinals before falling to state champion Newman. On Monday afternoon, Episcopal and Liberty squared off at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. Here's a glimpse of what the 2025 basketball season will look like.
Even though we're more than 4 months away from the boys' basketball state tournament in the Burton Coliseum, two teams that played in March Madness traded the Coliseum for the Smoothie King Center in a preseason scrimmage. Defending Division I Select State champion Liberty Magnet used a smothering full-court pressure game to give last year's semifinalist Episcopal a substantial test. Think of this as a field of dreams scenario for young athletes. Only the Pelicans provide hoop dreams for local programs whose parents and supporters are willing to buy a ticket to watch the Pels, with the bonus being a chance to watch their own kids run up and down this floor, usually reserved for only the best basketball talent in the entire world. Even though this was only a scrimmage, the score of this contest was displayed on the huge scoreboard high above the court, providing a surreal experience that none of these teenagers or their families will ever forget. And provide some serious motivation for two teams who certainly have the goal of getting back to Lake Charles and contending for a state title, even though the disparity in their divisions can be significant.
So this experience is always great. This is our second time ever participating. And so, being at Episcopal, we got on the phone and we actually had a scrimmage set up. And so, I spoke with Mr. Eric with the Pelicans, and he told me that this opportunity was available. So, and it was actually the first one of the season. So we was able to come down and play our scrimmage game. So it's always good to have the, the high school students get this type of experience to play on the, Pelicans home floor.
The outcome wasn't exactly what they hoped for, but tell me how it went. Did it meet your expectations from that point of view?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely just an
an experience for the guys to enjoy. And so I think everybody loves to be on an NBA court. A lot of dreams that you want to, aspire to. And so you get a chance to get out there. Yeah, the outcome wasn't what we wanted at all. I think it's good a learning opportunity, though, too. And you get to do it on a bigger stage.
It's different coaching them in here, isn't it?
It's very different. It's very different. The guys, everybody want to see if they can make a NBA three-point shot. So, but no, it was a great turnout. That's a new challenge. Liberty, obviously, Brandon does a great job there and has consistently for several years. We lost 8 seniors and the guys that played minutes on the Final Four team last year. So it's a new challenge, and there's a lot of growth to be happening. But I think guys are ready for the challenge and want the challenge. So.
What did you learn about your team today? Because you're the defending champs. Everybody's going to be gunning for you.
Yep. So, these guys, they go play hard for us all the time, and so that's the biggest thing.
Defense better ahead of the offense now, would you say?
I would say the defense is definitely ahead of the offense. Right now, this time of the year is kind of to see what guys can do. We lost 5 seniors last year, so we have a new group of guys that's coming in, and, I think they'll do well this year.
What an awesome opportunity for the student athletes at Liberty and Episcopal playing in an NBA arena with their teammates. After the break, we'll catch up with Coach Eric LeBlanc and talk about ERAF's walk-off field goal against Kaplan. Stay tuned. A pair of 6-1 teams got after it in Vermilion Parish on Friday night. The ERAF Bobcats and the Kaplan Pirates play in 3A, and the two towns combined make up about 6,000 residents. But the level of fight between these two made for one of the best games of the week, and it all came down to a field goal attempt by the Bobcats.
Your guys have had quite the turnaround this season. Last year, you guys finished 2-8, had a lot of injuries. This year, you guys were able to stay healthy. And you guys have turned that around into clinching at least a share. I know you want to win that district title outright, but it's going to take some work to beat Abbeville this week. Can you talk about this turnaround this team has done, though, and some of the guys who have stepped up during that time to really bring ERAF up to where you're at?
I think to a lot of people, on the outside looking in, it feels like a turnaround. But, I still see the same kids that were fighting last year, the same kids that fought through adversity. And when it comes down to it, you look at the scores from last year's games. We lost. There were 3 losses that were by a combined 8 points, and then another 3 losses that we lost by 8 or less. So those 6 games, obviously, kind of like this year, they could have really turned our season around. On the flip side, you mentioned about the injuries. The kids that were stepping up and playing last year and fighting through all those tough times were the kids that are on the field right now starting for us, whether they start in 1 spot or 2 spots, both sides of the ball. I think those guys were leaders last year because their opportunity was called, but now they're in a big role and they're finding ways to finish that we just couldn't find last year.
And this year specifically, you talked about those close games. Those are going your way this year. And just last Friday, you guys took down Kaplan with a walk-off field goal. Under the Lights did a great job with streaming that game. And being able to see that field goal and all those fans going crazy, it looks like there's a palpable buzz around the ERAF community about this team. Can you talk a little bit more about that win last Friday and just how pumped up you were?
Yeah, it was still hard to describe as a coach. We work those situations every week. a couple of days before we get down to it. And, so we always felt like we were prepared for it, the 2-minute drive and then, getting the field goal in at the end of the game. But, I feel, you talk about those wins coming in our favor this year. I just feel like those kids got a sense of pride as far as, what they're representing. And, you talk about the community support and the buzz. Like, I think that's where it starts. It starts from the community, expectations of us and where we want to be as a program, and then the kids just accepting it and working their butts off every week to get that win on Friday night for the blue and white.
And your kicker, Eli, he comes through for you again. I know he came through in the win against DeQuincy. I saw you mention that he was 0-4 to start the year in field goals. Was there any kind of doubt in your mind when you sent him out there to kick that field goal?
None. We talked about a lot of technique. I know, and as a young kid, there's a lot going through his mind in that moment. And so we just make sure we reiterate the things that we work in practice. Talked about talked with the snapper, talked with the holder, talked with the O-line about protection. And, I think if they don't focus on the moment, they focus on technique and they focus on the things that they've been taught, we really feel like they're able to execute a lot smoother. And, he did it. He's been working. We mentioned the field goals at the beginning of the year, and those didn't bother me. Even the DeQuincy game when he made that field goal with a minute left, we felt like that was more operation issues on those 2 field goals he had missed early in the game than it was about actually him kicking the ball. So, the kids have trust in the coaches. They have trust in each other. The coaches have trust in the kids. We just execute the situations like we've been taught every week in practice.
And I kind of skipped ahead a little bit because before that field goal kick, you guys had a really, really impressive drive down the field. Whenever you trotted out there with 44 seconds left, I know you said that there was no doubt in your mind you weren't going to try to go win the game, but how impressed were you with specifically Jack Landry at quarterback, the way he led that drive down the field?
Yeah, he was one of those guys last year that had to step in a role as a young kid. And, where he is now, you can see the growth he's had as a quarterback and as a young man. I think that feeling I had about us going down there to win the game was the same feeling he had in his mind. He was like, "Coach, just give me the plays and we'll execute it." And, he did it. It took 3 plays. We got down there to the 8-yard line in 30 seconds or whatever it was. And, he did it. He did it with his arm. He did it with his legs. And, he finished off the last one with the little stick route right there over the middle. And, he put us in a great spot to win one.
And now you guys move on to Abbeville, a chance to claim an outright district title for you guys. When's the last time you guys won a district title? I know they've lost the kind of like hype that they used to have back in the day, but it still is a district title to teams, and some teams see it as more important than other ones. Yeah. But
it's big for us, and we've been talking about it this week because it's easy for kids to look at numbers, meaning records and stats and those things, and you look at Abbeville's record and they're 0-9 this year. But on the flip side, we know they'd love nothing more than to be able to take that district title away from us. So we've been focusing on it. We've been really working hard at it. The last time we won one here at Erath was 2019. And it was kind of the same situations where it was a senior class that just fought for each other all year. And, I see the same thing in these guys, and we just got one more to go finish.
Next up for Erath is senior night against Abbeville. The Bobcats game against St. Martinville was canceled 2 weeks ago, so both teams have a chance to share the title with a win. On the other side of this break, we'll take a look at the top seeds in this year's volleyball playoffs. The brackets are out, baby. Let's go. This is the High School Spotlight.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
The LHSAA Network is your home for the state football championships, the 2024 Prep Classic from the Caesars Superdome. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage, halftime, Pre-game, post-game, you'll see it all here on the LHSAA Network, December 12th to the 14th from the Caesars Superdome. The Prep Classic, all 8 state title games. And the games will also be shown on YurView.
The upcoming volleyball playoffs are sure to provide plenty of excitement across the state. The brackets for all 5 divisions were released this week, and there's strong competition against the top seeds. Here's a look at some of the top seeds in each division.
Beginning in Division 1, the top seed belongs to Slidell. Coach Danny Tullis has the Tigers 30 matches over 500 and ready to face Airline in the opening round. Reigning champion Dominican is the 2 seed. Coach Jessica Chatalier's team will host Alexandria to start postseason play. The 3 seed goes to Mount Carmel, who's won 6 of the last 10 state titles and will face Chalmette. Onville takes the number 4 seed and will host Sanamon. Fountain Blue is led by setter Hannah Ellis and hitter Marley Lang. The Bulldogs are the number 5 seed, while Baton Rouge area teams took the 6th and 7th seeds, with Dutchtown and Central earning top marks. Byrd High School from Shreveport, led by last year's district MVP Lola Overdyke, earns an 8th seed and will host Lafayette High. In Division 2, reigning champion St. Thomas More is the number 1 seed. Coach Burke's Cougars ran through the regular season 31-3 and hosts the Willow School. Renee Fontenot of Sam Houston is retiring after 33 years, and her Broncos earn the number 2 seed in the bracket, hosting David Thibodeau. Ben Franklin of New Orleans is the number 3 seed and looks to make the semifinals for the 4th year in a row. The Titans of Lakeshore earn the 4 seed and welcome Ellender to town. Number 5 seed Academy of Our Lady will host Salmon. Terry Abear's Turlings Catholic squad is the 6th seed and will battle Patrick Taylor at home in the first round. Kenner Discovery Health Science is number 7, and South Lafourche hosts Leesville to begin postseason play. In Division 3, it's back-to-back number 1 seeds for Archbishop Hannon. The Hawks won it all last season, and Coach Rebecca Bonifay's team will host Loranger. The 2 seed goes to Haynes Academy, which has wins over Dominican and Ben Franklin. The Hornets from Metairie are paired with Jennings in the first round. Number 3 Vanderbilt Catholic hosts Booker T, while St. Michael the Archangel of Baton Rouge faces New Orleans Charter Science and Math. Parkview Baptist reached the semifinals in Division 3 last year. The Eagles are the 5 seed and host De La Salle. The 6 seed goes to Edie White. They'll take on Estruma of Baton Rouge. The U-High Cubs and Coach Benita Johnson grabbed the 7th seed and face Collegiate of Baton Rouge. And the 8th seed was earned by Iota. The Bulldogs are 20 games over 500 and host West Feliciana to start the playoffs. In Division 4, John Curtis earned the top seed, winning matches against Dominican and Calvary Baptist. Coach Alex Carter's team is trying to win the first state title at Curtis since 1991. Lafayette Christian made the quarterfinals in Division 3 last season. Now the Knights are the number 2 seed in Division 4 and will host North Caddo. Northlake Christian is the number 3 seed for the 2nd year in a row, and the state champion Wolverines begin defense of their title against Sarah Reed. Number 4 goes to Newman. The Greenies were the number 1 seed and reached the semis last fall. They host South Plaquemines in the first round. Northern Power Calvary Baptist comes in at number 5 and will battle Red River. Catholic of New Iberia reached the semis last year before falling to number 1 Hannon in Division 3. The Panthers are the number 6 seed in Division 4 and host Loyola Prep. Rounding out the top seeds is Sacred Heart of New Orleans at 7 and the Dunham School of Baton Rouge at 8. Our final bracket, Division 5, has a familiar school at the top as Metairie Park Country Day looks to win their 9th state title in a row. Coach Julie Ibieta has won 14 of the last 15 state championships. The 2 seed is Westminster Christian out of Opelousas. The Crusaders just upset one of the top seeds in Division 2 in Sam Houston. They'll face Downsville in round 1. Ascension Catholic earned the number 3 seed and will host Vermilion Catholic in Donaldsonville. The 4 seed goes to Crescent City, who will battle North Iberville. Louise McGehee earns the 5 seed for the 2nd year in a row and will face St. Mary's. Riverside Academy's made a huge jump, going from a 15 seed last year to the 6 seed this fall. They host East Iberville. The 7 seed belongs to Central Catholic. The Eagles from Morgan City reached the semis last year, but ran into number 1 Country Day. And the final top seed belongs to Covenant Christian, who checks in at number 8.
The LHSAA State Volleyball Championships will be broadcast on the LHSAA Network November 16th, live from the Cajun Dome. Rolling along on today's show, we'll hear from Coach Adrian Burnett as Franklin Parish wins the first district title in school history. More to come on the High School Spotlight.
Love did this. This is love's fault, and it hurts. It's devastating. But you always come back for more. What else gets you up this early? What else makes you feel this wild, this ecstatic, this focused, this obsessed? Has to be love. It's in your soul, your head, your heart, your hands. You love the game. It's your nature. Nothing is more real.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Nearly 20 years ago, Franklin Parish High School was created by combining Winnsboro and Crowville High. Winnsboro had previously played for a state title, but it took the newly formed Franklin Parish High a while to win big. Fast forward to 2024, and Coach Adrian Burnett has the Patriots 8-1 and on top of their district in 4A.
But you guys brought home a district championship for the first time in school history after the win over Wassman this past week. Can you talk about the feelings and the emotions and being able to bring home something? Like, I know district championships aren't seen as highly as they once were in some areas, but they're still a championship.
Yeah, well, so this is my third year as a head coach at Franklin Parish. And so everything that I've been trying to do is just kind of just change the culture, build a new culture, get a lot of community camaraderie, and get everybody just kind of a part of some type of excitement. And like you said, man, no district championships are not held in the same value as they have been in past years. You don't even get that extra point like you used to. But I thought it was crucial to the direction of the program to not only have an opportunity to win it, but also to win it and make that some of the main conversation and main talk. And this has been one of the team goals since this summer. We had two team goals as a whole. One was win district. The other one is to make it to the state championship and play for a championship. And, you know, that's kind of where we are right now.
And I know that in the past seasons, you guys had kind of started strong and then maybe hit a wall. But this year you guys started strong. You guys were matched up against Calvary. And I remember everybody was talking like, oh man, Calvary's going to finally put the end to it. But I remember your talk before the game. You guys were going to put the state on notice that night, and you guys went out there and you did put the state on notice. And the state's been on notice now for a while. You guys have racked up a lot of wins this season. Your one loss was a 4-point loss to a really good Ouachita team. I mean, this team just seems like it's clicking on all the right cylinders this year. Can you talk about some of the things that you've seen from these guys that have really, propelled that team to this record?
Well, we're really led by a lot of our 26 class, our juniors, who are also the guys that started when I started. So that was my first ever freshman class. And now it's to a point where they kind of got, they are who I am. They're gonna play hard. We're gonna be resilient. We're gonna go in there and fight for 4 quarters, tooth and nail for every single opportunity that we have. And also as a coach, we know one thing, man, if you got the Joes, and I got some good guys. I got a great defensive line. I got a premier quarterback. We got a lot of pieces in place that allows us to be successful. I also added Coach Greg Boxley as my new defensive coordinator, who was at Wassman last year. Wassman finished top 5 in the state last year in defense. So I was blessed and fortunate enough to get him to come over and work with the defense. And ever since he's been here, those guys have bought in, and, man, we really have taken off.
And you talk about bringing in Boxley. I remember hearing about him at Wassman last year, how strong that defense is. The last 3 games, you guys have only allowed 6 points, and all 6 of those points came last week against Wassman. I mean, can you talk about some of the guys or some of the players on your defensive line or some of your defensive guys who have really stepped up this season?
Well, the main 2 guys that everybody knows is our defensive ends. One is Chris Addison. The other one is Tavon Bell. Both of those guys are getting highly recruited, Power 5 offers. But we have a kid that transferred in. So we was in all season we was missing that strong safety, that free safety position. And just out the blue, we had a kid named Addison Spradlin that transferred in from FA, which is a small private school that does 8-man football. He came right in, inserted himself, a missing piece that we had. Also last year, we lost a kid, Avery Johnson, who actually broke his neck. He was in a halo for like 6 months.
Jeez.
And number 0. Came back this year. I'm talking about like nothing's been wrong. So adding him back in there with that hunger and tenacity, and he also got Traylon Martin, who's going to be a highly recruited safety that's in the class of 27. So we got some great athletes, some guys that bought in, some guys that love playing the game of football. And Coach Boxer, like I said, he's come in and he just pushes them hard every day, and they have just done nothing but responded week in and week out.
And you talk about a talented guy who should be receiving Power 5 offers, Des Ellis. This kid, he seems like he's really special. It seems like he can turn a game that you guys might not be playing so well in, and he could turn it around. And he seems like a real leader of this team, especially for only being a junior. Can you talk about some of the qualities that you see in him and things that he's done this season to really help you guys out?
Yeah, so he's one of those kids, that you notice back in – 7th, 8th grade that, okay, when he gets to high school, he's going to be one of those guys. He came in as a freshman. It was a backup quarterback, so he played a lot of wide receiver as a freshman. And as a sophomore, you could see some of those sparks. You could see some of those moments, but he still had a lot to learn. So he really got into the weight room during the off season, ran track during the off season, and watches, just a ton of film, whether it be before the game, during the week, on the sideline huddle. He's one of those guys that just want to continue to absorb information, and he has a lot of God-given talent. He's 6'3", is 180-something pounds. I've had people ask me about him being a wide receiver or a cornerback. No, this kid is a quarterback. He's a premier quarterback, and, we're going to go as far as he can take us.
Franklin Parish will now face the Tioga Indians, who won 4 of their last 5 to end the regular season. We'll keep a close eye on the Patriots during the postseason. After this quick break, we'll recap the upset win by Madison Prep over U High, and later, a preview of the Week 10 showdown between undefeated Neville and Ash. This is the High School Spotlight.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
The LHSAA Network Game of the Week pitted 2 teams in the top 6 of the latest power rankings as 7-1 U High and 5-3 Madison Prep matched up on Halloween night. Despite the rain and the humidity, the 2 teams laid it all on the line for a chance at a district title. The LHSAA Network Game of the Week between U High and Madison Prep, a couple of teams in the top 6 of the latest power rankings. A rainy game from the second quarter on. How about Alec Haynes, star linebacker turned running back sensation? He has done a great job filling in for Keelan Moses, running the rock for the Cubs. Scored 1 touchdown early on in the ball game and gets the first down rush here in the first quarter. Now Tylen Johnson, great senior quarterback, will pass this one off, and Madison Prep is not going to go down quietly. This is their home game, and they will make a nice catch and run Here against the Cubs, Keon Robinson, star wide receiver, made the catch there. And then they're going to have Alfred McKnight take care of this one. McKnight scoring the first of 2 touchdowns in this ball game. McKnight, one of those incredible runners who can put up 140, 150 rushing yards in any game he plays in. Nice catch. Again, this one intended for the far sideline, and Johnson connects. Here's McKnight again, running behind blockers, gets skinny, and he's off to the races again. Touchdown saving tackle made by U-High's Jaden Gloston. Now around the end, this time he'll run left, and he will find the north end zone of Old Memorial Stadium to put Madison Prep up early in the ballgame. Interception by the Chargers. This one in the hands of Joshua Hebert, picking off Emil Picarella. That one sealed the deal, and Coach Landry Williams' squad improves to 6-3 on the year, while number 2 ranked U-High falls in a score of 14-6. The Cubs will play Port Allen next week, while Madison Prep is at Helix Mentorship. Coach Landry Williams and Madison Prep can win the district 6-3A title if the Chargers take care of business against Helix Mentorship this week. We've still got plenty left in the tank for today's show. Coach Byron Keller of Red River talks with Spencer Barrett after the break, and later our preview of Neville and Alexandria Senior High. Keep it locked on the High School Spotlight.
The LHSAA Network is your home for the State Football Championships, the 2024 Prep Classic from the Caesars Superdome. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage, halftime, pregame, postgame. You'll see it all here on the LHSAA Network, December 12th to the 14th from the Caesars Superdome. The Prep Classic, all 8 state title games. And the games will also be shown on YurView.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Red River High School, formerly known as Coushatta, is about halfway between Natchitoches and Shreveport. The Bulldogs have won 4 football games in a row and just captured the District 3 2A title. Coach Byron Keller's team beat Manny 48-8 and Winfield 50-6 to win the crown. Our Spencer Barrett caught up with Coach Keller.
Well, Coach, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us. Your team wrapped up a district title on Friday with a big-time win over Winfield. You guys went undefeated in district. But just talk to me about this season, how it's been for you guys. You guys started off with a really, really tough non-district schedule. I feel like it built you guys up for this district schedule.
It did. One of those things that we thought of going into our scheduling in that new cycle was we wanted to make sure that we schedule teams that were going to be competitive and to give us a good gauge of how we were growing in year 2 of the program. And then going to Catholic Appointee competing against Oak Grove and Pineville, those were those teams that we knew that were pretty solid. They were going to be good, and that would be a good test for us going into district. And of course, everyone wants to go undefeated and, end up on Parger Street in December. But sometimes you have to go through those lumps in order to get to that point. And that's what we did this season. I think God has the plans for you in all those aspects, and those things had to happen in order for us to improve and get to the point that we are now. And we're playing our best ball at the right time. Everyone's excited, going through with district, getting undefeated, and then proving ourselves against these quality programs that have been there before. So everybody's excited, and that was a great high school environment last Friday with the big win, and being able to celebrate that district championship at home. That was a great experience.
When was the last time you guys won a district championship?
Red River High School, it was 2005. So you're looking at over 19 years.
Wow. So it being 19 years, kind of what was that atmosphere like of winning that district championship?
It was every week after the win. You see, we had some more people talking. We had some more chiming in, and everybody started going back and looking. And then at one time, I was walking through the hall, and the secretary ran up to me, and she was showing me pictures from when her son played, and they won. So everybody was just really excited. I was so happy and so proud that we can actually do that for the program and for the community. It was a great experience.
Can you talk about some of the guys on your team this year that have stepped up to help deliver this moment?
Well, you always, the phrase defense wins championships, and it's true. And that's when our strong suits, and that's what we're going to start off with. And that's being led by our senior linebacker, Jacob Kellogg. Man, he's been a 4-year player in the program, and he has really stepped up this year. He's having a great senior campaign at linebacker, being a leader of the defense. At the beginning of the season, we have our goals, and we set our short-term goals and long-term goals. And one of his goals was, we wanted them win a district championship. And one of his personal ones was he wanted to have 100 tackles on the season. And he's coming up to that mark this week. He's been lights out for us. And helping him get to that point is our defensive line. And our defensive line is anchored by Jaden Stewart, and he's a senior at defensive end. And then we have 3 sophomores that's actually helping Kellogg to be able to, keep those linemen off of him so he can make those tackles. And that's Jarvis Whitaker, Johnny Jones, and another senior, Quentin Kennedy. So that's our strong suit. Then we have our Swiss Army knife in the back, Jamela McDonald. He plays a little bit of everything for us. He's very versatile, and he's another senior that's helping us get to that point. And then again, anchored down on the ends with our cornerbacks, Cam Hobley. And then we have a series of guys that we rotate in there, and a number of young guys that have been producing for us as well. So that's where I love to start with that defense, because we're playing lights out on that side of the ball. And then offensively, Malik Smith in his junior year at quarterback for us, he's having a great year, progressing week in and week out. And our offensive line being able to improve week in and week out as well, and allowing us to put those points on the board and being the spot to win these games. It's just beautiful. And then on the other side of it is special teams. The last 6 games, we've either scored a defensive touchdown or on special teams each of those weeks. So whenever you score on that side of the ball and offense is producing, it gives you those opportunities to win games like we're doing right now.
What did it mean to you to bring, because this is year 2 for you in the program, what did it mean to you to bring home a district title to Red River?
It was huge, and it shows that we're progressing as a program, that we're getting better each year, and the sky's the limit. And one of the things that we've been talking about a lot is we just hope that the kids understand that, yes, it's year 2, and we've done something that hasn't been done in a while, but the district championship is not our ceiling. We have a lot more potential, and we're looking for a healthy, strong run in the playoffs. And that's one of the beautiful parts right now going into week 10, and we are healthy. We don't have anyone out with major injuries. Of course, through the season, you're going to have dings and bumps and bruises, but we don't have any guys that are out. So we're going into the playoffs full steam, and then we're excited about that.
And you guys take on Oakdale in week 10. Obviously not a district game for you guys, but another sort of match to get you guys tuned up for the playoffs. What are you hoping to see from your team this week?
Well, one of the things, one of the goals that we had, we wanted to be able to go on the road, a road trip, and win these games. And we fell short of that this year with the Catholic of Point Capee and Oak Grove. So this is our last chance in order to prove that to end the season, that we can go on the road, have our little travel and being able to win a game, to where in the playoffs it's old hat. There's nothing new to us. So that's one of our goals. And we love the fact that Oak Grove is a running team. We want to go ahead and be able to go in and control the aspect of the game with a running team, being able to take that away from them, and then being able to keep producing the way we've been producing the last couple of weeks.
Coshada won state back in '92, and the program recently sent LSU Tiger Benny Logan to the NFL. Now the Bulldogs are trying to make a name for themselves as Red River High, and Coach Keller has them on the right track. We'll close out the show with a preview of Neville and Alexandria after this. The game of the year in the regular season may well take place in Week 10 as a pair of undefeated heavyweights in 5A square off. 9-0 Neville is ranked number 1 in 5A, while Alexandria, also 9-0, is ranked number 3 behind Edna Karr. The Tigers and Trojans have been on a collision course all season. Alexandria scored at least 40 points in all 9 games. Neville has beaten 3 state champions from a year ago, including 5A power Ruston. This matchup has everything a Louisiana football fan could want.
We're now joined by Thomas Bachman, the head coach for Alexandria Senior High School. Coach Bachman's Trojans are 9-0 and number 3 in the latest power rankings. Coach, your team's put itself in position to win a district title, go undefeated. This week's matchup with Neville looks like the game of the year.
It's another big one. There's no doubt about it. We're certainly excited about it. You mentioned all those things. I think for us as coaches and players, when you're wrapped up in it, you're head down on to the next one. Don't necessarily see it as any of that other stuff. All that maybe is on the line or not. It's just another ball game. It's a big ball game. We've talked about it with the kids. It's not the first big one. It's not going to be the last big one. So, let's just continue to prepare and do the things that we've done all year. And, when Friday night rolls around, it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Your offense has been outstanding, averaging about 49 points per game. And coming into the season, you had a 2-quarterback race between Max Gassett and Carson Sellers. How have they worked together?
Really well. I think each one of them have their strengths and bring things to the table. And, obviously we try and play to those strengths and put them in situations to be successful. But I'm really proud of the way that they performed and handled the whole situation. They're both competitors. They both want every single rep. And I certainly respect that and acknowledge that. But, that's a week-to-week, series-to-series kind of thing as far as how we're going to go with whatever quarterback is there. And the big thing is the guys around him have played well and taken some pressure off of those, young players there.
One of those guys around him is a pretty talented running back, JT Lindsay, who last year had over 1,700 yards rushing and 26 touchdowns. What has the 24 season been like for Lindsay?
He's had a pretty special year. He's a special player. He's a special young man. And I think he's over 1,500 at this point. He's scored 20-something touchdowns. He's had a really good year. He's played the best in the biggest ball games.
Talk to me about the Trojan defense and what you guys have done really well this season.
I think we've performed situationally extremely well. I think we've competed. I know that we've grown over the course of the year. Going into it, we had a lot of inexperience and a lot of youth, a combination of sophomores, juniors, and seniors out there. We battled. I say battled. Football's a physical game, especially in this league that, our district is one of the better ones, I believe. There's certainly a lot of really good ones out there. We have a lot of pride in the one that we play in, and I've been proud of the growth on that side of the ball. And I know some people look at scores, and I don't really listen to a whole lot out, but some of the people bring things to you is the defense. The way that we play offense, they're going to defend more possessions than maybe some of the other defenses where the ball, there's not as many possessions. So I do think that that's something to consider or to take into account. As far as if you just look at numbers, maybe points given up or all that stuff, is the amount of possessions that they're out there defending.
There's no doubt Neville will come in confident in their abilities as well. What kind of challenges do you see the Tigers posing?
Well, they're well coached. I know a lot of the guys up there on that staff and have known them for a long time and know the quality of man, the quality of coach that is leading, not only the program in Coach Collins, but the position groups. And that they're getting better every single day when they get on the practice field. And then they're good at every, there's not a position where, it's like, all right, here's a weak link. There's just not many of them. So, you're going to get a tremendous challenge because you got a well-coached, talented football team, and I think that's what you want. I think you want the challenge of finding out where you stack up against the best that's out there, and they're certainly that program and have been that program for a long time.
The Tigers and Trojans are scheduled for a 7 p.m. kickoff on Friday night in Alexandria. But with the potential for a tropical storm, some teams may choose to move games up to Thursday, so keep up to date with your local news outlets. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll have plenty of football highlights and talk about the playoff brackets next week right here on the High School Spotlight.
1 second from half court. She ends it with a strikeout. A title for the first time